Hi, everybody. My name is Chloe Morris, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the fundamental attribution error, or correspondence bias. So here's a quote by Stephen Covey to kick us off. "We judge others by their actions and ourselves by our intentions." Our learning objectives for this is going to be one, to be able to define fundamental attribution error, to understand the relationship between attributional biases and age, acknowledge forgetfulness as an age-based double standard, and consider the possibility of altering these attributional biases. So the fundamental attribution error is something very prevalent in our society, with older adults being a large percentage of those affected. In other words, a large percentage of those stereotyped. What is fundamental attribution error? Casual attributions are explanations of why behaviors occur. Take this one, for example. Why did Edna forget where she parked her car? A situational attribution would be Edna was trying to hurry and didn't pay attention when she went into the store. So, situational factors would be one's environment or situation at the time the behavior is observed. And on the other hand, a dispositional attribution would be Edna is old, so this must be a sign of dementia. Dispositional factors are one's personality or character. Making casual attributions about others based solely on dispositional factors is what causes the fundamental attribution error. So, correspondence bias, or fundamental attribution error, means ignoring how a situation may influence someone's behavior. And all of these terms you see here are in the family of attributional biases. So, how does this relate to aging? Our book's definition of the correspondence bias is young adults tend to draw inferences about older adults' dispositions from behaviors that can be fully explained by situational factors. I'm sure we can all think of a time we saw in a movie, read in a book, or even witnessed in real life, or possibly are guilty of ourselves, an occurrence where a young adult wrote off the actions of an older adult as dispositional without taking situational factors into account. Contrary to popular belief, this way of explaining older adults' behavior is not something only young adults are guilty of, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. The man in the photo appears to have forgotten something, and this will lead us into our next topic, which is forgetfulness. So, there are many stereotypes that play a part in people's tendency to attribute another's actions to either dispositional or situational factors, but the main one affecting the older population is forgetfulness, so we're going to be focusing on that one. When a young adult forgets something, it's assumed that they are either under stress, busy, or nervous about some situation. But when an older adult forgets something, people are quick to assume it's due to their old age and that their memory is in decline. This is what we would call an age-based double standard. So, is there an age-related difference in how prone one is to the correspondence bias? Well, according to Follett and Hess, yes. This controlled study by Catherine Follett under the supervision of Thomas Hess was published in the Journals of Gerontology, and it showed that when young adults, middle-aged adults, and older adults were asked to explain the target's behavior, the targets being older adults, middle-aged adults were less prone to the fundamental attribution error than were younger and older adults. And this makes me think of something that we learned in our book about how aging stereotypes originate in childhood, are reinforced in adulthood, operate below awareness, then become self-stereotypes in old age. I would say the study conducted by Follett would support that idea. So, why are middle-aged adults less biased in their judgments of older adults? So, the Blanchard-Fields study of 2005 and 2012, discussed in Chapter 8 of our textbook, shows that middle-aged adults are less prone to the fundamental attribution error due to their life-accumulated experiences, allowing them to consider both explanations equally as to why things happen the way they do. Whereas with older adults, the question is it due to their strong belief system, or could it be a cognitive deficiency? The study concluded that the casual attributions older adults are making of others vary depending on the type of situation, age of the person involved, and whether strong social beliefs were violated by said person. So, in other words, this study concluded that no, it is not due to a cognitive deficiency. Mindfulness. A study conducted by 5 psychology professionals and published in the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology questions the impact mindfulness can have on the correspondence bias. Participants engaged in one of the following: a brief mindfulness exercise, a control task, or an attention to detail task just before completing a correspondence bias measure involving an aptitude attribution paradigm. The study showed that the participants in the mindfulness exercise had significantly lower measures of correspondence bias than those who participated in the control or attention to detail task. And this leads us to our next question. What can we do about this? So, attributional biases are something everyone is susceptible to, but being aware of it and practicing mindfulness can greatly decrease your tendency to make these errors. And resilience theory, which is another term that we studied in our textbook, recommends that we become aware of our implicit biases toward older adults and reject negative stereotypes, as the woman in the picture seems to be doing with her anti-stereotyping cream. This can not only help change the way you view older adults around you, but will also have a great impact on the way you view yourself someday. And these are my references, and thanks for watching, guys.